Hello. Today I would like to go over my back to basics strategies that I have come up with over the past few days, and I've ran several hundred maps to prove that this is probably one of the top strategies in the game right now. And it basically focuses mainly on scarab farming, but also some divination cards and random currencies. So there are 4 different strategies that all use this same atlas tree, but there are different scenarios in which you would use different ones. So the first one is my bread and butter, which I run probably 50 to 60% of the time, and that is a divination card variant. And the reason for this is because the divination card variant doesn't require any special map. It just uses any 8 mod map, which the others will, which we will get to, need a little bit of different 8 mod. So we can use any 8 mod. So the quantity will be between probably 95 and 130 or so. And the scarabs that we use are, for all these, we use 2 rare pack scarabs because it is extremely OP for back to basics, because back to basics basically deletes all your packs because it deletes all league mechanics that have been created over the past 10 years. So the baseline maps probably have like 600 mobs, but after you juice it up with the Atlas tree and scarabs, it probably gets around 1100. And a big part of that is these rare monster packs. And also, since they're rare monsters drop a shit ton of loot, so it's better than just a normal pack. So these are always in. The next scarab is just magic pack size because, again, back to basics deletes all mechanics, so there's not a lot of scarabs that is able to juice these maps. So this is basically just a default because it's a very common scarab, it's cheap. And then the Divination Scarab we use because all of my maps are Defiled Cathedral because there's really no point of running a map that doesn't have good divination cards, especially because Back to Basics and all the map modifier increases this 100% quantity to like 350 at the top end. So that's a crazy amount of loot. And then if you have a Magic Defined character, that's another multiplier. So it's kind of a no-brainer that you would run a Divination Scarab for this. And so, like I said, this is like 60% of my maps. Once I either run out of 8 mod maps or I want specialized 8 mod maps, I will go to my next strategy, which is a mapping variant or map generation variant. And we switch out the Divination Scarab for more maps, and we switch out the monster pack size for 8 mod maps. So I can almost sustain 8 mod maps with my first strategy. Not quite. I probably sustain like 80% of my maps. But once I get low, or again, I want special ones for these next 2 strategies, then I run this. So I'll probably run like 20 or so maps and then refill up my 8 mod maps and then keep going with the other strategies. And for this one, I still run an 8 mod map. Rolls can be whatever, but I typically look for a higher quant roll. So instead of like 100 or so, I look for like 120 plus, just because the 8 mod variant Scarab is a little bit more expensive. It's kind of uncommon, so I kind of want to juice it up more than the others. So now coming to the special variants of the strategy is a new one that basically just came out today after they recently buffed the amount of horn scarabs that drop, and that is a rare monster variant. So again, you're still running the rare monsters, but now you're also running Hunted Traders, which is a rare scarab that pretty much no one uses, so it's cheap, but it's rare. And that, again, gives monster packs with rare mobs. And then the final one is the Horn Scarab of Nemesis, and this is giving all of our tons of rare mobs that drop a lot of loot 2 additional modifiers, which make them drop an insanely more amount of loot. So every single rare that you kill will pretty much drop a unique, high chance of dropping a scarab, currency, basically whatever. So yeah, this scarab is really, really good. And currently in League, it's like extremely cheap. And for some reason, it was really rare before, but they buffed it like literally no joke, like 100 times more rare now than previous. So maybe this will become my main strategy. Well, kind of. Maybe I'll run this more in the future. I say kind of because I kind of want to run this Scarab only on 8 mod maps that have the total number of rare monster modifier increase. Uh, Maybe it would be profitable without this, but it just feels way better with it. So, again, the top mod explicit on this map is 27% more rare mobs, or sorry, more rare monsters, and this is multiplied by the map modifier, so this goes up to like 40 or so because of that. And then if you get a high 80 roll on back to basics, this can go up to like 80, 90% more rare monsters, which again multiplies on top of the Nemesis Horn Scarab, which makes this strategy insane. And there's not a lot of, um, let's say, 20% of the 8 mod maps will have this rare modifier, so you can't really run it 60% of the time, but I definitely want to test this out more. Again, it's really new, it just came out today. And the final strategy, instead of rare monsters, we're going magic. And so, again, there's not really a ton of scarabs that you can use, so we're still adding packs to the map with the double rare monsters. But these rare packs that are around the rare monsters will be converted to magic monsters with the expensive scarab. Less expensive now, because, again, they buffed horn rate drop rates, or horn scarab drop rates. And then we will be using the bloodlines for the last strategy. And again, very similar to the rare strategy, we want maps that have magic monsters, hopefully, but that's extremely rare because since this is so expensive, I don't really feel that it is super profitable, at least right now, to just run baseline 8 mod maps. So I would actually suggest running it only on influence maps currently, because influence maps add an insane amount of more monsters to the map. So these will probably have like 1100 mobs, 1200 mobs, 1300 mobs, something like that. But if you run an 8 mod influence map with back to basics with all the map modifier, it'll go up to like 2000. So these maps, probably very expensive, very hard to get, 8 mod Conqueror maps, but well worth it. It's like, again, 2 times the amount of mobs. And then if you turn them all magic, then the amount of loot that they drop is like threefold. So this strategy, again, very expensive, but it's like 6 times as much loot as probably your average strategy. So maybe if this Scarab drops in price, then you won't need to run it on an influenced map. You can just run it on a normal 8 mod map. But we will see in the coming days. So that's the summary of my back to basics strategy. If you have any questions, put them in the comments and I'll get to them. Thanks.